6:04 in the morning. Man, it's a little early in the morning, but I guess we had a short commercial. Hyundai of Yuma advertises on the show, of course, and out there on 32nd Street. I got a phone call already this morning, but I want you to hold on just a second. And so do a drive-by. Well, drive-by means you stop and talk to them.
I had some service yesterday.
Oh, you did over there at Hyundai?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to make a trip cross country, and so
Yeah.
I went in, give me a quick check over, and fix a couple of little things for me. They did.
Well, that's only smart.
They're good guys.
That's only smart. Yeah, get over there, do a drive on, America's Best Warranty and all that. But that's not why you buy a car. You got to get behind the wheel. You got to like it. You got to live with it. It's a big expense.
It is.
Generally, owning your house is going to be more money. So get to know the car. Get to behind the wheel. Spend a little time. Talk about it. In fact, speaking of talking, let me take a phone call from call in. You're on the air. Good morning.
What switch is off?
Wait a minute. You're on the air.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, I got you now. I had a button that wasn't pushed properly. I fixed it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we want to get it started right here with this Uvalde thing.
All right.
They need to go after the guns. Stop messing with the kids. If you want to fix it, if you want to fix the problem with the school shootings, repeal the 26th Amendment. That's where you gave the kids the right to vote. The kids are voting, and they're voting stupid.
Oh, you mean like 18-year-olds?
No, I'm talking about 18-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
18-year-olds are the ones doing the shooting. So they're kids. Russ, I grew up, I'm 80 years old. Let me remind you of that.
Yeah.
I grew up when the parents owned the kids. The kids had no rights at all.
Oh, I know.
That's how it was in this country. Till we got the political correct crap and these liberal women, they got involved. Oh, kids have got rights. No, they don't. We need to stop using them to kill people in wars, start drafting them, stop making them register for the draft. Move the age up to 21 to 28. Take the voting rights away from them. They want to act like stupid kids. We need to take the rights away. It ain't the guns, Russ. We're allowing kids to get away with stuff.
Oh, I agree with you. It's not the guns. I do. Absolutely. And that's been the focus, unfortunately.
Yeah, instead of focusing on these guns, we need to try something new and different. Let's try something like repeal the 26th Amendment.
Well,
that gives the kid. They only did that because we had kids in Vietnam War fighting. Okay,
I remember. Yep.
We had 2 wars where the grown-ups sent the kids to go fight. The grown-ups are cowards. They always have been. Americans have been cowards all their life.
Yep.
They sent kids, 12-year-olds, to fight the Civil War, and they sent 17-year-olds under the cover, like 19 years old was draft age, but the 17-year-olds joined before they got drafted, and those are the ones that was in Vietnam. I know, I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And,
It was.
But if we want to do it, we need to start protecting the kids, and then make it 21 to buy a gun. And if they're under 21, see, the parent is now responsible for the kid that's got the gun. So the parent needs to be held accountable. Where in the hell did your kid get that gun?
Well,
we don't need gun laws. We need to know why the parent let him use a knife or a gun or a car to ram somebody. If the parent had loaned him a car and he hit somebody and he didn't have a license, they would hold the parent in court for being unresponsible for allowing him to drive his car.
all right. I don't disagree with that.
Why not? Why not do the same thing with a gun? It ain't the guns, guy. I own guns all my life. My kids been around my guns. Nobody in my family was shooting anybody.
Well, I think that's most places. It's a very rarity that this happens.
Yeah, but I just want to get in there, and we need to start raising our kids. And Sheriff Leon, if you're listening, let's just start this gun safety classes in schools. That's not wrong.
Oh, it used to be that way.
Yeah. When you lived in the country, every 13-year-old had a 22 single shot in the corner to go squirrel hunting with. So it's not the guns. It's how they're taught. Anyway, Russ,
Appreciate
have a
it,
good
buddy.
show.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, he brought it up right away. Of course, that's the number one news right now.
Look, one of the big things I hear from all of these folks on the news, why aren't there more school resource officers? Why aren't there more school resource? Well, let's go back a few years. When I was a kid, there were no school resource officers on the campuses.
No.
Right? 50 years ago?
I never had one.
No, nobody did. What happened 50 years ago?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you what happened.
Tell me what
we
happened.
decided that human life was no longer in God's hands; that it was in man's hands.
Oh, okay.
When we said abortion was okay, we said a human life is no longer important. We threw God out of our schools, and what has happened? Our society has rotted away to what it has become now. The fact of the matter is, if a human life isn't important when it's a baby, when it's in the womb, what makes it any more important once he's walking around in the streets? And that's the way these kids think nowadays.
Some of them, yeah. I don't know that they in their minds attach it to abortion. No, I don't.
I attach it to that because at that time abortion came along. We took God out of the schools and out of our national discourse, and it has led to where we are now. These people today, they have they don't. A human life doesn't mean anything to them.
It definitely was a change. Another listener wrote this morning: Second Amendment, support Second Amendment, but time has come to time to change it has come. Giving Democrats more issues to use and win the election. Our obsession with guns need to be addressed. It's no longer the late 18th century where guns were very important. Is it a God-given right? Well, is a gun a God-given right? No, but the decision to choose is, the decision to do those things is a God-given right. The gun isn't necessarily the right that's given. It's the individual rights to choose those kinds of issues.
But you see, our kids aren't being taught the way you and I were taught.
Well, Mel, you're exactly right, and the guns are not the issue.
And it is exactly right. It isn't the gun. That's right.
And the thing I don't like about this comment about support it, but it's time to give the Democrats this so they don't use this as an issue to win elections. Well, no. Then we just become Australia or something where we have more problems and we can't solve them, ourselves. But,
that's right.
This republic, I think they stressed to us when it was formed that, the Second Amendment was the Second Amendment. I mean, it didn't take long to get there.
No.
They understood the need for self-protection, preservation, and all that, and to protect ourselves from the government. It always says here, mass shooting seems to be an American phenomenon. I don't know, is it?
Well, I don't know. We don't know for sure, but
I mean, I don't read the European news and all, but maybe it is. I have no idea.
Yeah. It's the thing is, it's happening now. It's something that you never, or very, very seldom, ever heard of anything like this. Happening before.
Yeah.
But our society has
Look,
degenerated down to where, like I say, human life isn't important anymore.
Something that's shocking, not surprising. As soon as this thing happened, which is horrific, we had politicians galore going out there. Gosh, and all my stuff didn't print. I did a lot more work than this. It's sitting back in my office somewhere. But there's a President Biden came out right away.
Of course.
To talk about it's time for gun control. Like the gun is what did this. It's not the gun that did it, Mel. And it's not the type of gun. It's not that at all.
No.
And yet that seems to be the focus because what they're doing by doing that is not looking at the problem. And the problem is behavioral, no question. Behavioral.
Exactly.
And a lot of that behavior is promoted by not following the laws, by not prosecuting laws, by letting people go, blaming society for criminals' problems, and saying, well, it's not fair to hold them accountable, so let them out of jail, and not doing and focusing all on the guns, where these kids think it's not my fault. These kids aren't taking personal responsibility.
No. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. The same thing. 50 years ago, there was no such. You seldom heard of anything like this.
I used to take guns to school because I would hunt in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'd go out bird hunting in the morning before the sun came up. And as soon as the sun come up, and then of course we get to school, and then we go after school sometimes. So there were always guns in my car out in the parking lot at high school. Mm-hmm. In high school, I had guns. I never thought about it. Yeah. In fact, I got pulled over by police one time. As a kid, and they said, "Do you have any firearms in the car?" And I said, 3, actually. And okay, good for you. What are they for? And I said, "Well, I'm a hunter." And all. I said, "Oh, okay. No, don't worry about it." Yeah. But it wasn't a big deal. Or can you imagine getting pulled over now as a kid? You got guns in your, they call a SWAT team.
As an adult, for crying out loud nowadays. But
Yeah, and it was never a big deal. And like OG says, every kid had 22. Now, I don't think that's true that every kid did, but I think where he lived out in the country, probably more common than not. You
used to be able to, if you ever bought a comic book.
Yeah.
On the back page of the comic books, they had this place you could write away, and they would send you through the mail a 22 caliber.
Yeah, I remember those.
Little 22 rifle. It wasn't, it wasn't one of these fancy Henry rifles or anything.
It was like $20 or something.
Yeah, it was. It would fire it. Hey, you pulled the trigger, a bullet would come out. So
there used to be guns in school because they would. A lot of schools taught marksmanship. Sure. And you'll see those pictures and stuff. You look at the older pictures from the 50s and the 60s and stuff where it shows the school kids out sporting, archery, marksmanship, soccer, baseball. Sure. They're doing sports and they actually would have NRA people on the campuses. Sure. Teaching responsible gun ownership.
Right.
That's all gone.
Yep.
Because we start demonizing guns, and instead of looking at the issues.
And that's what our politicians are doing. It's all the guns' fault. It's not the fact that that this kid has never been trained properly, or
we have Joe Biden out there. Gosh, and I don't have any of my articles in front of me, and I don't know why they didn't print this morning, but I print them before I come into the studio. But they're not. Something's wrong with my printer work. You know what'll happen? The girl at the office today will put on my desk a bunch of stuff that somehow prints late. I don't know what happens. Sometimes it gets lost in there, and I'll get a bunch of articles on my desk. Well, that was yesterday's stuff. But Harris came out, of course. Biden came out, of course.
Sure.
Many of them come out to talk about. We need to do legislation. Nancy Pelosi says we need legislation. It's not legislation that's going to fix this.
No.
That's not what it is. And look, the supporting of Black Lives Matter with their riots and dumpster burning, the Antifa with the riots and dumpster burning, and these Democrat politicians.
That's certainly not doing our society any good either.
Are supporting anger and striking out, and that it's okay to do these things. The defund the police has created more police being hurt this year than ever, and assassinated police.
Yep. That
this whole anger that the thing started up is the issue. It's not the firearms, although I understand this kid was a concern. He was and I don't know what that completely is yet. And Ted Cruz and others have want to look into it.
He killed his grandmother, and then he started shooting at some folks over at a funeral home. They went dividing running for help, and then from the funeral home, he went into the school.
Yeah.
So
and we don't know a lot yet. And I hate talking about these things so early, but we will because it's all that's on the news. Everything else is canceled.
Nothing else happened yesterday.
I know. Let's take a phone call. You on the air?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
That was a sad incident yesterday. I've heard some people say, they shouldn't have shot the kid, to where...
What?
To where they could study him and see why he did it. But there is no reason at all to do what he did.
If they could have taken him into custody, they would have. But they're not going to risk the safety of more kids.
Right, right.
I wasn't there, but
it's sort of like the CTE or whatever it is that sports figures get, from being hit in the head. You have to have a autopsy, in order to find out if he had it or not. But perform an autopsy on the kid, to see what wires were crossed.
Yeah.
But Mel's got it right. The minute they took God out of the schools and the Board of Education, I was introduced to the Board of Education many times. And and ever since they took God and the board out of the school, that's when it started going downhill.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty sad. We just all need to get back to God. You know, He's with us. It's just we're not with Him, and He must be up there just crying his eyes out. It's a wonder we ain't got a rainstorm down here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this kid was a regular Sunday school guy. I don't have any idea.
It doesn't sound like it.
Which is part of the problem.
All right, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Yeah, a lot of issues with this one. I guess you heard that there was a border patrol agent. This was a small town.
Yeah. Yeah, Border Patrol agent that ran to the rescue, and I guess he was wounded also, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, but he walked out. I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't carried out. He walked out, but it was an 18-year-old and guy that did this thing to an elementary school. We're talking 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
They only had up, I think somebody said 2nd through 4th grade is the only grades they had in that school.
It couldn't be anything more
So
nightmarish and haunting. But let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How y'all doing this
Hey,
week?
we're doing well, buddy. How are you?
Oh, man, just another day in the projects.
There you go.
know, what happened, I'm not going to call this coward, this animal, a kid or anything. I'm going to call him like he is, an animal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Mel hit the nail on the head. When he took the guy out of school, and he started taking the Board of Education, because I had that all the way from the 3rd grade to high school. I met the board a few times. But another thing we forgot is we took responsibility away from the parents. Because, growing up in Chicago, we had police officers in our school, So
Oh, you
this was
did?
the norm.
Okay. Well, you're much younger then, Reggie.
Yeah, but you know what? There were gang fights, but it was outside the school. You might see one or two, couple of guys fight, but there was no, as far as I remember, there was no shooting.
Yeah.
There was always like one guy fight with another guy, 2 or 3 guys. But we had this one big officer. I can't remember his name. That looked like he was just a muscle builder. He come down the hallway, everything stopped, and we took, like I said, we took that authority away from the parent. These kids nowadays have no respect for not only authority, not only from the parents, but authority, because the teachers are teaching these kids, or if your parents say something or spank you, you can get them arrested. And like I told my son one time, a long time ago, yeah, you can call the cops, but you're going to go home with them. And we took all of it away. And it's just a travesty.
Oh, yeah. This thing is a terrible thing, but to be opportunistic right now politically is what's going on with a lot of our.
Exactly right.
Sickening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And for any Republican, no, I'm not even going to call them Republican, any rhino, pop his head up, do like, well, we need to stop. Just shut up. Just shut up. Go in your corner. Just pretend that just pretend like you are a Republican. Just shut up. We don't need to hear you. Because this is, they're going to use this to go after the Second Amendment. We all know this. And matter of fact, I got a question for you.
Yeah. Oh.
Has anything peculiar about this kid pop up? We found you the immigrant from El Salvador.
Right.
But nothing else.
Oh, there's been a few things. He had some Instagram stuff that was disturbing, and
yeah. Then they found he was transgender, so right there it popped in my head because they mentioned he was mental illness. Okay, what kind of mental illness this kid was on?
Yeah.
So he's transgender. I got a question. What kind of medication was he on?
Well, he had some troubles, but I don't think they've really researched it all. But it's obvious that there was something out there with this individual.
And go ahead.
But the whole thing, they're going to concentrate on the guns. They don't really want to talk about the kid.
No, they don't talk about. And it's the biggest problem. You see, most of these cowards, these mass murderers,
Yeah.
They're on some kind of antidepressants. If you look at the side effects of most antidepressants, homicidal, suicidal ideation is always present. They're on some kind of psychotropic meds. It's always got to do with something, with the mental health side of the house. And and what bothers me is most of like I don't know if it was this kid's rifle. I don't know if he used a handgun or a rifle.
It was a
So
rifle.
one Instagram post would kind of, kind of threw me off. Where did he get this money for this rifle? Because one of them was a Daniel Defense. And if anybody knows Daniel Defense rifles, I think it was a D4 and something like that. That's an expensive rifle. So, it's coming, like I say, Daddy could have saved up his money.
And I don't know if it was his gun or one of his parents' guns. I have no idea. I don't know. Like I said, I hate talking about these things because I don't know any details. Really, haven't.
Right.
Those things don't all get vetted right away.
Yeah, and it's just the Republican Party. What they need to do is stand up and say, okay, I don't call the Democrats on the carpet.
Yeah.
If you're so concerned about the kids, why don't we come up with a bill that pass security to have armed security in the schools like they do in Israel? It happened back in I think the early 2000s when they was having a rash of killings from the I'm trying to remember where some Palestinians would go and kill, just go and just shoot up a school or something like that. The Israelis start hiring private security to guard the schools. They can train, they can be certified once every 4 months.
Well, they had private security. I mean, they had security measures in place. I don't know what they are yet, but I know I read that they did have security measures in place, but I don't know the details of it yet.
Yeah, I don't know. They kind of just but like I say, just like the college in New York, they go to these soft targets and prey on the weak and innocent.
Of course, they go to grade school. They don't go to a gun store or to a police headquarters.
No,
absolutely.
They knowing it, and this will bother me. It's like they go to these gun-free zones and nobody addressed that. Now, if you want to get gun-free zone, that's your story. That's on you.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, if you don't have to just take that sign out the window. I bet you. Some of you guys they would think twice. That one power they shot up that movie theater. Remember, he drove for like an hour or so out the way.
Oh yeah.
The other two movie theaters that was in the vicinity.
Get one that didn't allow firearms inside the movie theater. Right.
Yeah. And like I said, somebody GOP need to wake up and say, "Hey, this is the problem." And matter of fact, it was Biden, Beijing Biden, the bigot himself, had I think he was the co-author of that bill, the author of that bill, the School Safety Act back in 1990. I'm trying to remember. Somebody out there knows, just correct me on it. But he was the author of this bill about gun-free zones in school, and Bush senior signed it. But anyway,
Thank you, buddy.
Anyway, you guys have a good morning.
All right, bye. Yep. I'm looking here at the article that was supposed to print that I didn't have in front of me, but they had 4 officers in that school district, including the chief, a detective, and 2 officers within the school district. And they were partnership with local law enforcement agencies. Now, I saw a picture. I couldn't tell if they were armed or not, but it says security staff that patrols door entrances and parking lots at secondary campuses, case managers, and social workers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they had any armed. It didn't say police officers. It said security that were in partnership with the police. I don't know what that is. I said we don't know a lot,
No.
But it did say they had some security. But it looks like it was adults monitoring versus somebody that could fend off an active shooter with a firearm. I don't know that, but that doesn't sound. Of course, Biden demands gun control. Harris calls for action. Nancy Pelosi calls for legislation. Bill Clinton said enough is enough, and we need, my heart breaks for families, all good and all that stuff. And we owe these families and the families who've experienced similar losses, including, which I agree with. Enough is enough. People, American people overwhelmingly agree. I agree with Bill Clinton on that. And our elected leaders at the local, state, and federal level, regardless of party, must find common sense ways to keep our children and community safe. Agree. They have to do so without touching the right to hunt, sport shoot, and keep guns for self-defense. So he's going after the guns. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can hunt. Like, that's the only thing guns are there or whatever. But no, that's not. It doesn't say, the founding fathers said these are guns for hunting, self-protection or whatever, but protect us from the government.
When you start educating the children
And time to protect,
and proper use and this and that.
But the legislation, the thing I'd like to see is start enacting the laws that are on the books. Start shutting these criminals, start shutting down these riots, shut down bad behavior.
Sure.
And using the laws on the books.
Yes.
We don't have to even put new laws out there.
One thing we don't need is another law.
No, we don't. Just tell the prosecutors, start prosecuting, people start doing it, and people get the message.
That's right. That's right.
And they do, and instead of glorifying and embracing all of this bad behavior. Why Pelosi and company are out after the white supremacist radicals.
Yeah.
We've lost sight of what the problem is. And Joe Biden has said many times, as a candidate and now as a president, that the worst threat to our society is white supremacy. I'm still looking for what that threat is. I don't think it's been defined. But unless he's talking about himself, and then that is a problem.
The worst threat to our society is people who think like Joe Biden.
Well, yeah, and the fact that we've let criminals run amok.
Rampant.
And now these leftist politicians are embracing it as an opportunity to take away the rights of everybody.
Was it $1,000? As long as you steal less than $1,000, you're not a thief anymore.
Yeah. Well, they want to go after the Second Amendment rights now too.
Yeah, that's right.
Now that they've created hatred and turmoil in the streets, they say, "Wait, protect us, take away the guns," which is their goal all along. Maybe that's why they let the violence happen.
Violence go, sure.
Yeah, so they can say, "See, I told you it was a gun problem." Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The low pressure system that has kept our temperatures in line, it's moving out, and high pressure is moving in, and that means the temperatures are heating up. Triple digit heat here the next couple of days. 102 the high this afternoon. Overnight, low 70s. Sunny and breezy, 103 tomorrow. Friday looks to be the hottest day of the week. 104 the high Friday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Election season is here, and it's no surprise that politicians are behind the times. Some find out only when it's way too late that free over-the-air broadcast radio reaches more voters than television, social media platforms, and road signs. In fact, there's mounting evidence that candidates who are early adopters on radio win more races. Put this knowledge to work for your business. Book an appointment with one of our marketing experts. Go to yumaadvertising.com right now and take the first step toward marketing success.
Grown-ups, devise a plan and follow it. Children, do what feels good. Take responsibility for your family's future and get your estate in order. Call my friends Sean Garner and Adam Hansen, attorneys at the law firm of Deason, Garner, and Hansen. Sean and Adam believe in giving free education to help people make smart decisions about their assets and leave a legacy for their family that they can be proud of. Schedule a consultation today. Visit yumaestateplanning.com.
Carrie Lake is lying about Karen Taylor Robeson in the race for Arizona governor. Why? Because Lake is trying to hide her record of supporting amnesty for illegals. Lake wrote that her plan, quote, allows them to remain. You heard that right. Lake supported letting 11 million illegals stay in the U.S. indefinitely. Lake criticized Donald Trump's immigration policies, calling them, quote, impossible. Lake claims to be a lifetime member of the NRA, but Lake only joined the NRA about the same time she started running for governor. No wonder Lake gave money to Barack Obama, even knocked on doors for Obama's campaign. Karen Taylor Robeson is a successful businesswoman who helped create thousands of jobs. Robeson will always defend our Second Amendment rights, and Robeson has a 6-point plan to secure the border and finish the wall. Karen Taylor Robeson for governor. Read Karen's plan at KarenForArizona.com. Paid for by Karen for Arizona. Authorized by Karen Taylor Robeson.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Mel's in studio. And, I better put your mic on.
Okay.
And Lou's on the phone. Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, guys. These young boys that are doing this shoot-up stuff, I have often wondered why they were so angry, because they have to be angry, but I don't think they know what they're angry at.
Yeah.
But in looking back over it and all the things that's happening in our culture today, they're losing out on getting roots. Roots, the family gives you roots and stability and confidence. And most of these kids probably never even had a sit-down meal with their family.
Don't know.
They're not introduced to God. That's against the law. Well, not really, but people look down their nose if you talk about that. And they don't have anything to pull to give them confidence and know which direction to go. And God made men, thank goodness, strong enough in their ability to help take care of and protect their family. But these kids don't have a family for them to protect or to protect them. Most of them, I think it was last week, there was an article. Oh gosh, I forgot the guy's name now, but wrote a article for a newspaper editorial, and he was talking about fathers and how many of these kids have never had a father around to take them fishing or to play ball with them or to do any of these things to make them feel loved. And the fact that the parents feed them and house them, they think that's enough most of the time, or a lot of times, maybe.
Right.
But that's my opinion of what's going on. These kids are so angry, they have nothing to turn to.
There's a breakdown in the family, as you say, a breakdown in all of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they're making it worse in today's world because they're trying to do away with families.
Yeah.
The government can do it better than families, and it just isn't true. So my prayer every day is that God wakes these people up, our elected officials, and give us enough sense to know who to vote for to try to get somebody in that will help us figure out that it's the families. But the first thing they always come up to when this happens is make a rule, make a law, let the government take care of it. Well, that's just not the answer.
That seems to be.
That is.
That's what legislators do, man. They just say, "Well, let's make a law. We'll fix it."
That's right.
That's not always
But
the case.
they never do. That's the problem.
No, they don't.
And the ones that do don't have a clue why they're doing that either.
No.
So the other thing that I'm annoyed at immensely is that there is a definite law against these rioters around the Supreme Court judges.
Yes.
That's against the law.
Yes.
Have you heard anybody out there stopping them? Have you heard any of our Republican people? Have you heard anybody out there
Yeah,
saying?
well, I've heard a lot of them out there. A lot of them have said it's unnecessary, but they're not the legal force. They're legislators. They can't force it. They can make a law, but it's up to the legislative branch. Now we've got Merrick Garland.
They need to be out there. They need to be out. This is my opinion again, but they need to be out there making noise so people hear them doing
Lou,
it.
you're not listening to me. I told you they are. They are making noise. They're screaming about it. Okay, it doesn't mean the press is running it.
I haven't heard anybody.
Well, they're out.
Of our elected officials, I haven't heard anybody, and
Well,
I try very hard to listen to the
okay.
news.
Oh,
to
you
the right news.
you do as much as anybody, but I'm telling you, it is out there, and I have spoken and I've read articles on them, but the mainstream press isn't running that. And then Merrick Garland has come out and says he won't enforce it because the law's unconstitutional, which isn't his decision to make. But that's what's going on. That's what's going on. But he was the one put in office by Joe Biden, by the liberal progressives that embrace this kind of stuff. The liberals want to take this to the streets, which is against the law, but they're supporting it. Now, the Republicans are not in the majority. They can't stop it. Not legally. They can't stop it. And they're following.
Well, if it was you or I out there, we'd already be in jail. That's the difference of it.
Yes. Yeah, Merrick Garland would come after the parents of the in Virginia that talk bad about the school board.
School board, yeah.
But he won't enforce the laws on the books.
Right.
But he'll create some for school board parents. Correct.
That's true. Anyway, that's my idea for the day, or opinion, or whatever. But I feel so sad for these young men, and you don't see the young women out there fighting or shooting these people. It's always young men that are at that age. That I happen to know personally, a young man that is a good person, He's 40 now. But when he was 8 years old, his mother would leave him for days taking care of his 6-year-old sister to feed her and get her off to school. He doesn't to this day know who his father was. And but he's a good person because he's just good at heart anyway. But he's one of the ones that could have been out there shooting, in my opinion, because he just has no roots.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to go out
but obviously he had some good guidance somewhere because he turned out okay. So somewhere.
Well, it's in his genes, I think. A lot of it is that. Yeah. I really do believe that. But I've seen people that had 5 or 6 kids, and 4 of them would be fantastic, and one of them is a nuthead. So I think it has to do with your genes. But anyway, okay, right, you guys have a nice day.
Thanks, Lou. I just think they didn't like the nuthead. That's what it was, Mel. You know, people say it's the same parents raised them all. It's not the same parents ever. No. Because, and I think it was, I can't remember if it was an Indian thing that said, you never step in the same stream twice, meaning that the stream is always moving and changing. Yeah. And parents change. I mean, the first kid, parents are nervous and scared, and they pay attention to details. By the time they get around the third one, say, what the hell? Yeah. So do they grow up in the same household?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, they grow up in the same household, but it's not the same house. It's changed. It's molded. It's got more experience and understanding, and some of the things they don't take the same pay the same attention to. Right. They don't.
What was important with the first kid isn't as important
the
today.
Firstborn always gets more attention. Doesn't mean good attention, just gets attention. Yeah. Sometimes that's good. I hope it's good. Let me I'm gonna make a phone call here to Gary. We'll see if that works. Gary Snyder wanted to call in. But since the phone is busy right now, we'll see if this works. I don't know. I don't do this very often where I call somebody. It's ringing, Mel.
Yes, it is.
I should do one of those calls you just surprise people and don't even tell me you're on the radio. You've heard of those before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I should try that. Gary?
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Are we on radio?
Yes, we are.
Sounds good.
See, I was going to surprise you and say, no, we're not, and then see what you say that's bad, but, I'm just not that guy.
We just arrived at Gila Bend. Me, Carl, John, and his son-in-law, Thomas. We're out here putting the signs in Gila Bend, Goodyear, Estrella, Buckeye, stuff like that.
Oh, that's right. Gila Bend's in your district?
Yes, sir. And Tohono, Ajo, and south of Tucson, which is like Xavier.
Now, what was the question?
Oh, so what's the biggest topic that we're seeing in Yuma County the past few days?
Oh, the election issue. Yeah, not the shooting in Texas, but the election issue.
No, the shooting in Texas is very, very important. It's a national.
But Gary, before we talk about that, let me ask you a question. Has any of this been released from Brnovich's office or the sheriff's office as far as the direction of some of the investigation?
All right, so let's clarify and break it down.
All right.
So the two indicted ladies, one already took the plea bargain, and one's about to take the plea bargain, as we believe, June 2nd. Now, from the movie 2,000 Mules, from True to the Vote, it's created some pressure on people that weren't willing to prosecute or weren't willing to go through the process of cases and information and records. So the 16 that came out is actually information that the local sheriffs, Wilmot, and the county recorders found with the original information that me and David did with the recordings of the legal criminal acts. So when they went through their voter rolls, they went through the FBI doing the fingerprints on the ballots, they found some problems. So those 16 isn't the AG that found that. That is actually our local county recorder and sheriff. The AG is doing a separate sting operation that they found.
But when you say, well, hold on a minute. When you say the local recorder and the sheriff and all that stuff, that was before the movie. So it had nothing to do with the movie necessarily, but it was research you guys were doing that was also in the movie.
Correct.
All right.
So they found that stuff. It does help, though, that movie and True to the Vote help them, give them some more information that might have helped them pinpoint certain people or where the money comes from and stuff like that.
All right.
But it's putting pressure on local and national elected officials or agencies to help facilitate what we've known that's been going on for years with David Latta's 22 years experience. So in the past few days, there was a raid in San Luis. It was big. There was no confirmation where the things were, even though everyone in San Luis knew where they were, but officially on topic, because there hasn't been a press release from the Attorney General's office.
There has not been one then. Why
there
not?
has not been one. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But officially, the Gateway Pundit and another local newspaper, San Luis News, has verified, because the head of the nonprofit in South County, Vienna Star, Supervisor Tony Reyes, on record said that there was a search warrant raid at his Vienna Star for one of his employees named Gloria Torres.
Right.
Gloria Torres is a current city council member for San Luis, school board member for GSD, and an employee for Vienna Star.
Now, just in the things I've read the Gateway Pundit, but in that they talked to Tony, and he says Vienna Star's not been raided. There's not been any warrants for searches of Vienna Star. That it's just been one employee within it at this point. That's not happened.
Correct.
Okay.
The search warrant was one of his employees inside working for Vienna Star.
Uh-huh.
He stated that he has not yet received a search warrant for Vienna Star or himself.
Correct.
But the certification on the Gateway Pundit and what he verified was there was a search warrant. They came to his nonprofit to talk to Gloria Torres. They confiscated some electronics, and I believe they also went to her house.
Yeah, to her. Not to the nonprofit though.
Correct. That's right. Not to the nonprofit.
All right.
There was another raid about a mile away at a local business that they also had a search warrant and confiscated electronics, and also some of those people tended to talk. They gave up people information. They gave about their names.
Now,
so something that was a 75-person list now became 225 people.
Now, how do you know this? Because I've not seen this written anywhere, but you just know it because you've been informed by people anonymously or something?
Between me and David, we gave a list of 75 people that we know for sure that has been a part of this mafia syndicate for the past 22 years.
All right.
This list is not now 75; it's 222 and counting.
And who keeps track of the 222? Is that something you were told, or
Attorney General?
Attorney General. Okay. All right. So they've got 222.
So what it is, if you go to talk to someone and you ask them the hard questions, and if they're involved in it, what are they going to do? Instead of going to jail, they're going to rat out other people.
Right.
So, like I said, there's quite a few people. They've been there for the past 3 days. They had people come into the police station yesterday, about 20-plus people, plus visiting people's houses. You start adding people's names that might not be on that list. You're like, oh, let's go check these people out too.
Well, perhaps they're not talking about it because they're not done raiding. And
they're not done. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not done. I give it about a couple of weeks before there's any kind of press release from the Attorney General.
But it's on social media. It's on the Gateway Pundit, obviously. It's
right. And like I said, anyone's going to discredit it until there's an official press release, until there's official indictments, or there's official, you're guilty. At the end of the day, some people be like, oh, you're indicted, you took the plea bargain, and people say, well, you took the plea bargain because you didn't have a good lawyer, and you just, instead of going to jail, you just said yes.
But there has been some people. There's been some people that have been arrested. There are some people that are already going through the process of either you're going to go to trial or you're going to have a plea agreement. I mean, we've already got some of it going on, but
that is correct.
But the most recent raids, the most recent so-called raids, Those are also we've known. In fact, the sheriff came out and said there were 16 people he was looking into, but that's about the most press release we've gotten. That's about it.
Correct. And that was updated about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been any official press releases otherwise than people testifying, on interviews and stuff like that. That's the only information that you have. Otherwise, social media, everyone talks, in our community. But until officially there's stuff out, people can take it for what it's worth. Even if when there's information, it's press release, there'll be an excuse to say it's fake news.
Right.
There'll be an excuse to say it's not valid. I mean, they're trying to
some things,
discredit 2,000 mules.
Well, we know that too. But some things have definitely been substantiated. But it's fairly the tip of the iceberg at this point. In that, there's a lot.
We're just barely scratching the syndicate. There's money involved from developers. I mean, there's a lot of money. Money as well.
It may take years to really get through this thing. It's not going to get through this thing real quickly, but we should get something on the most recent indictments here, or if there are indictments, we know there's been seizures. We're going to have to get a official press release on that shortly, I would hope.
That is correct, and like you said, a search warrant is not something you just go down the street and pick up. It's a search warrant. It takes a lot of information to show valuable cause and why you're getting it.
Well, unless you're President Trump.
That could be true.
Well, we know there were substantial stuff. We just know it was all lies. It was all fabrication.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, me and David, we look like the bad guys because we might be breaking up some families and all that. We only ask the people to think about
that's like
what
saying
have they done to the whole community.
That's like saying it was the bad guys that put Al Capone in jail and took him away from his family. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. We'll live with that.
We just want fair and clean elections.
It's a big deal, Gary. And if somebody is messing with the elections, they need to pay a price, and that's it. That's all.
To the full extent, we hope that our judges hold them to the full extent of the law.
So God bless you and David for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I just want to mention, 2,000 Mules will be showing May 31st in San Luis, Arizona at Harvard's Preparatory campus. And then June 2nd will be the big one in Yuma at the Harvard's Prep on Arizona campus. Doors open at 5, and the showing starts at 6. We'll be having Q&A and special guests as well.
Now, do you need reservations to come? I mean, I know you're not charging for it, but
reservations are the ones that want to have better seats in the front. The ones is open to the public. So if you didn't reservation, if there's seats available still, you're more than welcome to come in. And we do not charge in any way.
And they can
donations are always accepted because we have other groups as well helping out.
And they can get go into your Facebook account or something and taking a look at that.
They can go to the Facebook. Also, there's a flyer out there, and they can text me. Everyone's through text, majority of them, just because it's much easier to keep their names on the list. And if they have any questions, we can just text back and forth.
So give out your phone number real quick.
Area code is 928-257-7290.
Gary, thanks you, sir. Appreciate all you do, man. Take care.
No, thank you. And everyone have a good day. And remember, we live in the best nation in the world.
Yes, we do. You're definitely not Stacey Abrams. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Take care.
No problem.
Yeah.
That girl's crazy. And I mean it. God bless these guys. They have
they're working hard.
Worked hard, sticking their neck out, and doing. And I'm not going to say do anything law enforcement won't do, because they will do it. They need information. They need help, and
they're helping track down that information.
And they're helping get that information out there for whatever extent. Yeah. But I know Sheriff Wilmot was pretty direct in his one of his releases that it was not 2,000 mules that got his investigation going, and it was already done before then.
Yeah, he was working on it a long
time. But it probably was connected in some ways, and that probably the guys that, like Gary and whatever, may have brought some attention to the issues. I don't know. I have no idea. Sheriff will tell us eventually
when he's ready.
When he's ready. I mean, he's got to do it on his timeline. When it's not going to interfere with whatever else he's got going on at this point. And I have no idea what that is. But let me see. I'm getting messages as people are trying to call in, but it's busy. Well, that's true. It has been, and that was David. And I didn't have anybody scheduled. I don't think. Let me see. No. Oh no, I wasn't. No one was scheduled. Call in. I didn't have anything listed anyway, and that's happened before. But I'll have a guest,
Yeah,
and it's not on my calendar somehow. But somehow I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have it on the calendar. That does happen. But I wanted to get out there too. Tony Reyes is the county supervisor and chairman of the board, and Benistar has been his business for a long time now. And there was some suggestion that was involved. I don't know one way or the other, but it'd be unfair to say it is if it's not the case. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, in regards to this film that they've been showing, this 2000 Mules.
Okay, hey, turn your radio off.
Turn your radio
in the back.
off, will you, in the background?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. Go ahead.
Okay, that video that they're showing, is it going to be shown maybe in the near future somewhere else where it will become more available to?
Yes, it will be. It will be shown at AMC theaters, but unfortunately, we don't have one. You'd have to go to San Diego or Phoenix to see an AMC theater. That comes out next month. But these videos came from 2000 Mules themselves. Session D'Souza has actually given these copies out to some people to distribute. They want people to see it, even ahead of the AMC thing. So.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Good to know that.
Freedom Library has a copy of it also.
Okay, all right. Good to know. Thanks for that information. And I just wanted to add a little bit to what you guys were talking about a little earlier about the shooting in Texas and how trying to find solutions and whatnot. Because we know that the Democrats are always going to take advantage of situations like this to push their agenda. I was my wife's a teacher, and we were talking about it yesterday when we found out. And I was telling her, you know what? I mean, why does the government doesn't come up with a solution or I'm about to retire from a law enforcement job.
Okay.
And you know what? I would be more than happy to work for a school that's an armed security. Even if I got paid minimum wage,
Yeah.
And why don't they do something like that because he was telling me that there's one security that has to cover 3 or 4 different schools. That's just not enough, and I don't even know if he's armed.
From the picture I saw, it looked like he was not, but I don't know that for sure. But it looked like it was an unarmed security from the picture. But I could be mistaken. I don't know exactly. That's why I hate talking about it so early. But there it is. Mm-hmm. That's the best I could tell. It was unarmed. Yeah, and they got psychologists and stuff to talk to. That's fine and good, but that's not security, and that's not going to take care of an incident. That's preventative, hopefully, but it's definitely not going to help at an incident.
You know what? And I'm pretty sure that you probably have a good idea of how many people that retire from law enforcement will be more than willing to have a job like that. To where we get jobs at school where we know we're going to be protecting children and teachers and whatnot.
My impression. The law enforcement officers I've known, all of them, would do anything to protect community. That's what they've done for their lives. And it doesn't quit just because you get a gold watch and a pension. I know it doesn't quit. And you see a lot of volunteers in the sheriff's posse and a lot of volunteers, in our law enforcement officers that work the major events, Midnight Oasis, those kind of things.
Definitely.
Yeah, they still protect. I understand. I get it. It's in your blood.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how difficult it would be to hire just more security staff for schools. But
I don't know, but I don't even know if they look at that. They always look at making contracts with the local police department, which is all good and all, but that takes a police officer off the street too. Yeah. I'd much rather have retired police officers, especially the cranky ones. Yeah, we need those guys. All right, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
for sure. All right, you guys have a good day.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's what we need. Get the cranky guys out there. And the ones that care, the ones that, haven't. And get me wrong, I've known a lot of, the people at the schools. Wonderful, wonderful police officers. I mean, they believe in what they're doing.
Sure.
They got, they know there's a mission out there, and they work as a, get to know the kids and get the kids comfortable with police. The whole thing. It's a community outreach. Also at the same time. We'll be back. It's already top of the hour, believe it or not. AM 560, KPLU.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. It's powerful technology.
For the loss of life. Now, the killer shot his own grandmother, critically wounding her before going to the school.
Police are serving search warrants. They're going through phone records. They're checking social media. They are trying to get in touch with relatives of this shooter. They are also conducting traces on firearms, trying to complete the picture of what happened here and what might have motivated the shooter.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Uvalde also reports a wounded 10-year-old girl's in serious condition. Another 10-year-old and a 9-year-old are in good condition now.
Why are we willing to live with this carnage? Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone?
President Biden again calling for stricter gun laws, which many Republicans have resisted. Some of them want a bigger focus on mental health issues. Now, later today, the president will issue an executive order on something else stalled in partisan gridlock in Congress, police reform. This would require federal law enforcement to revise use of force policies. The president also calling on local police to limit chokeholds and no-knock warrants, tying federal funding to that. It's 2 years to the day after George Floyd's much-protested death in Minneapolis. The officer who killed him is now in prison, a murder convict. America's listening to Fox News.
Every 3 seconds there is a new victim of identity theft. A criminal could be applying for loans in your name, selling your personal information on the dark web. Now, protecting your identity can be very easy thanks to LifeLock by Norton. No one company can prevent all identity theft or monitor every transaction of every business, but LifeLock is simple and easy to protect yourself, and you'll save up to 25% off your first year when you go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock. Just use the promo code Hannity.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
I did the Freon in my AC leak. Well, no metal today is like yesterday's. The copper is different and the price is higher. The new Rheem heat pumps are built like yesterday's. And now Rheem has a 10-year parts warranty on units in the event they fail. If you want to talk heat pumps, stop by our shop, Air Central Heating and Cooling, your local Rheem dealer.
Give Air Central a call or just log on to ACUMA.com.
Here's the news in 60 seconds from YumaDailyNews.com. A 6-year-old woman from Yuma has been hit by a car after she walked off the sidewalk. She was taken to the hospital where she died. Alcohol does not seem to be involved. YumaDailyNews.com. At least 14 children have died at an elementary school in Texas in the mass shooting incident. The governor for Texas says the shooter was killed. Officials say the shooter is an 18-year-old in the community. More on this, YumaDailyNews.com. This morning, Yuma law enforcement has been participating in the Torch Run for Special Olympics. Yuma Police Department has raised over $35,000 to help raise funds for the Special Olympics athletes of Yuma. Read more about it, YumaDailyNews.com. The Padres have been playing against the Milwaukee Brewers. Today's home game starts at 1 p.m. Yu Darvish will be pitching. Get the latest on the website. You can listen to the game live on our talk station, AM 560 K-Blue. If you have ideas for local news stories, you could always send us an email. That email is newsroom@yumadailynews.com. Go ahead and send us your story and we'll take a look. That's the news for now. I'm Kendra White.
Your next sports bet is closer than ever at Paradise Sportsbook. Kick back and experience live sports betting right in Yuma. There's nowhere better to place your bets. So much action, so close to home. Paradise Casino.
Must be 21 and older. Management reserves all rights. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP 24/7 for problem gambling.
Something new has arrived in Arizona. New, kind of like something shiny, and kind of different, and totally fresh with a jolt of excitement. Something fun, like a put a smile on your face kind of fun, like a play with all your friends kind of fun, a play till your socks come off kind of fun. Something quick, a play and win all day, every day kind of quick, like drawings every 15 minutes kind of quick. It's Quick Draw, the newest way to play and win from the Arizona Lottery, with 4 new games starting at just $1. Yeah.
America's border is in crisis. Last year, 2 million illegal immigrants entered our country, more than the population of Phoenix. And now, the Biden administration is busing illegal immigrants with criminal convictions across America. Who can we trust to secure the border when the politicians keep selling us out? Brandon Judd of the National Border Patrol Council and Justin Harris of the Arizona Police Officers Association trust Jim Lehman for U.S. Senate.
I am so proud, and on behalf of the National Border Patrol Council, to endorse Jim Lehman.
The Arizona Police Officers Association is proud to announce our endorsement of Jim Lehman for the United States Senate.
I am Jim Lehman. Join me. Together, we'll stop the human smugglers, drugs, gangs, and politicians. Bring power back to the people of America and secure our border. I'm Jim Lehman, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jim Lehman for Senate.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Mel's in studio.
Yes, sir.
You know, and David, I know I've got you trying to call me on my cell phone somehow, but do it back to the station if you could. I can't answer the phone right now. I'm on air. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How's Mel doing this morning?
Mel's doing well.
Mel's here.
Great. As I want to talk a little bit about the incident with the incident in Texas. Before I was in law enforcement, I did my 33 years. Before that, I was a psych nurse. I worked at Metropolitan State Hospital in Los Angeles, Norwalk to be exact, with the criminally insane. We had our own hospital police that protected the facility, and talking to one of the hospital police got me interested in law enforcement. But I kept my nursing license up until just a couple years ago, and I've been in the nursing, the psych field since 1979.
Wow.
So I've seen the trends if you remember, one of our original mass shootings was in San Ysidro, California. Huberty was the name of the shooter that went into a McDonald's and shot several people. It was a really bad incident back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Happened in San Diego County. You know, Russ, one of the things that I think is happening here with an incident like that, someone in that town had to have known that this one step below plant life scumbag had some sort of antecedents. In other words, he showed some type of a pattern. Maybe his grandma, someone.
Yeah, probably.
And nowadays, we always ask ourselves, well, in the 80s and the 70s, we didn't have these mass shootings, but a lot of it's attributed to the social media. It's just my opinion. With Tour of Duty, which is a very violent game, it desensitizes them into a game. And if you look at these two shooters, the one from Buffalo and the recent one, the 18-year-olds, what they'll find most likely after they investigate a lot of social media hate, a lot of things that they go into chat rooms. And the thing is, we could talk about security, we could talk about having it. We just never know where it's going to happen. We have over 300 million people in the United States. It can happen anywhere. And important is just reporting. There's a HIPAA where if patient-client, patient-doctor, patient-psychiatrist, confidential. But at some point, they have to have some sort of legislation where if these red flags go up, as a mandated reporter, they need to let law enforcement at least know about it. You know,
yeah, but
someone would have let
But I think a lot of people may have known. I mean, there may be people out there that knew, but they don't know who to contact, what to do about it.
Exactly.
You know, parents are lost. And if you call a physician and say we need psychiatric help, that's not readily available in most communities, particularly one that's like 15,000 people or something.
Yes.
That's almost non-existent.
Well, they need to have a PET teams, which are called psychiatric evaluation teams, that can go and start through classes and stuff, starting to let people know about these red flags and start, communication is important.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrible tragedy. That's just my opinion. It's a terrible tragedy, and unfortunately, it's going to happen again. But the thing is, people, if they start knowing the signs, the red flags in that community, happen to be bilingual. You have people like myself that are fluent in Spanish that can go in there and talk and just let these people know. It can start at the churches, at church meetings. Let people know, that's very important. That's all I had to say about that, sir. You have a beautiful
I appreciate it. Thank you for your service, man. You take care.
Thank you, sir. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so it's, you start working in those communities, psychiatric care and help. I mean, you're really seeing, a side of society most of us can't deal with.
Right.
And that has its own special effects at times. You got to be. I mean, those are the guys that need counseling too. After a time, really.
After a while, it's such a wear on you, sure.
The people that give counseling, need to sit down and talk, because that's tough. That's a special person that can go ahead and take that on. That's not an easy job, from what I understand. I've never done it. I mean, I've got crazy members in my family. That doesn't count, though, does it?
We all do.
That doesn't
we
count.
all do.
Phone lines are open, 344-5258. Let me see. I've got some from my fact checker here this morning, Edward, about something about the proper climate equity pledge is there's a equity pledge that a lot of businesses are looking at to make sure they're doing equity and climate change and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And there's some kind of stupid score
really?
they're putting on those things.
Okay.
Well, right now that there was a proposal made for the governments, and this was from the World Trade thing, Davos, whatever, to start purchasing stock in companies that do not follow proper climate and equity pledge, and start buying their stocks, have the government buy their stocks, and when the government gets a controlling interest, shut them down and destroy them. Now, that's a proposal, but Mel, it's scary that they even think like that. It's scary that that somebody would even come up with that idea. Let's destroy the businesses that don't agree with us.
Well, that's
And
they do that in so many other ways.
Well, they can do it in other ways too.
They have been doing it
rather than directly buying them.
Yeah.
But I wrote to him, I said, I don't think that was the intention of the founding fathers when they gave us this republic. Now, of course, I said that in the United States. This is a world. He says, yeah, but this is about globalism, not the annoying U.S. Constitution. Now, that's his tongue-in-cheek humor.
Yeah.
Because, but there's people that see it as annoying because it's hard to break it.
Sure. If you're going to live in accordance with the Constitution, then...
Yeah, we take an oath to it, and then what? We have so many people trying to undermine it.
That's right.
That took an oath to the damn thing and then undermined it. Yeah, but it's scary that they even think like this, and this is that globalism thing and that world order, the reset and all that kind of crap they talk about of just start buying the companies that don't do climate change and all that, and then buy them and put them out of business. And governments can do that powerfully. They're powerful enough to do that.
They have the power to do it.
But
whether or not it's the right way to do it,
And even in
it's not.
And even in this country, you say, well, that can't happen here because we elect these people and all that kind of stuff. You would be wrong if you think that because
there's a lot of things that 30 years ago, 50 years ago, said, that'll never happen
look,
here. And look, it's happening here.
Our elected officials right now, even Biden says himself, campaign promises aren't really promises.
No.
It's just campaigns.
That's right.
Then once they when they do what they do when they get in is something different. And we need to be aware of that as voters and start looking to make sure we vote for the people that do what they say they're going to do and that they conform to our value systems instead of this kind of crap. We'll be right back. AM 560.
This spring, Kokopah Casino wants to know if you'll stay or travel. Every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday between noon and 8 p.m., one winner every other hour could win up to $2,750 in cash or prizes. You can earn entries now by playing your favorite slots or table games with your rewards card. See the Rewards Club for details. Kokopah Casino has your bags packed with cash and prizes this spring because we love our loyals at Kokopah Casino, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
Sprague Sports is Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters. Why? Because Sprague Sports is the difference. Where else can you buy, sell, trade, or consign firearms with free expert appraisals always? There is nothing like Sprague Sports.
With 64 years of industry connections to have products in stock when others can't.
And all Sprague's firearms come with a lifetime warranty. And talk about customer service. There's a gunsmith always on duty. Sprague's is your Remington Warranty Center, and when you need it, there's expert one-day sight-in service. But that's not all. Sprague Sports has got training courses, including Arizona CCW, First Shot, Hunter Education, and more. Sprague's handles Glock, Blue Label pistols, and is your NFA dealer in suppressors and full autos. That's why we call them the experts. And Sprague's is Yuma's Yeti headquarters, the best Yeti selection and free ice for life. Sprague's has a 10-lane rifle-certified indoor shooting range and gun rentals you can try before you buy. Serving Yuma's shooting and outdoor needs since 1956. That's the Sprague's difference. Sprague's, 32nd Street, next to Lowe's.
What's the best audio service you never have to pay for? Local Arizona Radio. No subscriptions, no user passwords, no internet required. Just hours of great music. Local Arizona news, sports, and more. Up and down your AM/FM dial. Listen in your car, on your smartphone, or your smart speaker. When you plug into local radio, you get great free programming and you support your community. Find your favorite Arizona stations today at plugintoaz.com.
Hi, this is Tony Gwynn Jr., excited to be on 560 KBLU for San Diego Padres baseball. Get the games here and get the complete game schedule at KBLUAM.com.
Padres baseball on KBLU is brought to you in part by Paradise Casino Sportsbook. There's nowhere better to place your bets than Paradise Casino Sportsbook. So much, so close.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Hyundai, Mel's here too. You mentioned Mel.
Okay.
Hyundai of you out there on 32nd Street are advertisers on the station, and just that whole family of cars, where it'd be Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, all represented by the same veteran-owned business here in Yuma. The Genesis of Yuma, Kia of Yuma, out there on Pacific Avenue. But America's Best Warranty and being the veteran-owned business, he got into the business after he was in the military, and First thing he did in the military was buy a car and get, a less than a great deal. And he remembers that. I mean, it stuck with him, and that he wants to bring something better. In fact, he honors veterans and active military with oil changes and some other things. Get there and see the details, but there's actually some discounts available to veterans in active duty to make up for the whoever took advantage of him. I think back at that place, and it's a local business too, and a local business is kind of special in that they're going to get involved in our community as he does, and that's what it is. Also buying used cars. Yeah, if you have a used car to trade in, you don't want to trade in today, but you need to go ahead and get rid of it because it's not being used much. Get rid of that car. Go by, just say, hey, what's this thing worth? And they'll give you a number. And you can drive away and say, no, I think I can do better, sell it yourself, whatever. Or just say, cut me a check. That's always available. You can do that stuff. Phone lines are open, 344-5258. 344-K-Blue. A Democratic lawmaker calls Republican Senator Ted Cruz a blankety-blank baby killer. Yep. It's always a sweet thing. The vitriol and the anger and the stupidity just is amazing out there. But and it has to do with this mass shooting. And this was an Arizona Democrat, by the way. Ruben Gallego. How do you say that? Gallego. I'll have to look that up. Gallego. Blasted him. And he says, blank you, Ted Cruz. You care about a fetus, but you will let our children get slaughtered. Just get your ass to Cancun. You are useless. That's a mean man, this Gallego. Just to be clear, F you, Ted Cruz, effing baby killer. That's a mean man. Here's what Ted Cruz said to get that all riled up, He says, when there's a murder of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it. You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. Heidi and I are fervently lifting up in prayer the children and families in the horrific shooting in Texas. We are in close contact with local officials, but the precise details are still unfolding. Thank you to heroic law enforcement and first responders for acting so swiftly. Yeah, F you, Ted.
Yeah.
You baby killer. Where does that come into that baby killer thing? Ocasio-Cortez replied also, aren't you slated to headline a speaking gig for the NRA in 3 days in Houston, no less? You can do more than pray. Faith without words is dead. Their blood, your hands. Oh, no. Their blood, your hands was George Takei. The others was Ocasio-Cortez. So they're just attacking the hell out of him, because they see NRA as
they're the enemy.
The enemy and the ones that kill babies.
Everything that's happened is the fault of the NRA.
Yeah,
which is nonsense. But
correct. They teach gun safety.
They teach
gun responsibility.
Responsible gun ownership.
Yes.
So,
Rob Reiner, the blood of every child that dies of gun violence in this country is on the hands of the Republican Party.
Really?
Yeah, Democrat Eric Swalwell of California. Anybody who proposes additional firearms as a solution to the problems of shooting is a psychopath. Yeah, we've had 2 decades of doing things GOP NRA way. Maybe it's time we tried something else because this sure as blank blank is not working.
We've had 50 years of doing the progressive way, and it has destroying our civilization. Plain and simple.
We've had way too many years of not enforcing laws. Way too many years.
That's right.
That's even gotten progressively worse and worse. And the anger and the violence is the problem. And they blame the guns.
Yes.
Anger and violence is okay as long as it's a dumpster fire and not a firearm. A Molotov cocktail into a police car is just a probation. It's a protest.
Yes.
Yeah, just a protest. But a firearm, and a defensive firearm is the one they got all concerned about. You remember in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, right.
Yes. That he used it to defend himself.
Using it for self-defense. Shame on you.
Yeah,
You're supposed to just sit there and take the beating.
They vilified him for not allowing that guy with the skateboard to beat him to death.
Yeah.
How dare you shoot to defend yourself? You should have been beaten to death by a skateboard.
Yeah. Well,
but-
and you know, you have what's going on. Portland is still on fire. It's been on fire for what, 2 years now.
Yeah, they still are destroying that place, and it's the guns problem, you know, and these kind of things. And I think it's the violence that we allow that allow us of disorder and the things that, you know, handcuff the police, vilify the police, and make and then make heroes out of villains.
Yes.
Make them saints.
Yes.
You
These
know.
people, some of these folks that were the victims of police violence were actually
Horror.
aggressors, and
Yeah, and some of them were unarmed, but it's not that they weren't aggressive and attacking. It's they just and they just didn't have an arm on them at the time, but they were still attacking police. That's never going to end good.
No. Generally, no.
Generally not going to end with your life, but it could. You know, you put yourself in a very dangerous position right there. But that's never talked about, really. Oh, a WHO expert out there that I agree with. You know, the World Health Organization. Yeah, not who's on first, but the World Health Organization. He's an expert. I guess it's Sylvie Bryant. He was a director of global infection hazardous preparedness. Told the World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. Oh, I say he, it's a she. That she had been monitoring the monkeypox for years without viral spread. It's also very important for this. Again, limited outbreak to have excellent global coordination and collaboration. We need to share information, share diagnostic resources, and share data. We encourage you to increase the surveillance of monkeypox to see where transmission levels and understand where it's going. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. Joe Biden. No, she didn't say Joe Biden. I threw that in there. That's a
little editorial comment.
Yeah, but
it's a valid one though, because that's it. They're just trying to create another
pandemic.
Another pandemic.
Yeah.
And as an excuse to turn over more and more power to an organization that is proven to be just terribly inefficient.
And this monkeypox has been in Africa for many, many years,
Mhm.
and it's been out there for many, many years, and pretty much stays in Africa. For some reason, we have 2 cases in the United States which haven't even traveled. And then remember, I did a story on that the other day that the World Health Organization is perplexed. These viral people, like how are these things popping up? There's like no connection, like almost like somebody's out there just spreading it, you know, somehow. But it's got them perplexed, particularly in Europe. We have 2 in the United States. Yeah. It's not that much. One got it from Canada. We know it was in Canada. It was the only place they've been, and Canada doesn't really have monkeys. I don't think they've got a problem with it. But it's reported in Spain, Portugal, and the United Kingdom. There's like 80 people in the whole world with monkeypox.
Yes.
And Biden is claiming
because of
it.
that we should turn over anything health related to the WHO.
Well, that's crazy.
No, thank you.
Yeah. A previous outbreak in 2003 led to 47 people being infected and was likely due to imported animals in the United States now. We have 2 in the United States right now. And 2003, which I don't think we really heard about it. I don't remember hearing about it. We didn't have the President of the United States saying, we have a real problem here. We got a real problem with this monkeypox.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Well, what kind of?
It's a problem if you want it to be a problem. If you want to sit there and stir up the population, that's all this is.
That appears to be it, doesn't it?
To me, it does.
It's like, don't come out of your bedroom. We still got monkeypox.
Yeah.
Who knows? We got West Nile. We got AIDS. We got the flu, the common cold. Yep. Who knows what else is out there?
Yep.
Just stay under your bed.
One of the best things Trump did was to pull us out of the WHO. We should have stayed out of it.
Well, we're not. We're back, I guess, listening to it. And of course, keep in mind the CDC does not make policy. The U.S., our legislators make policy. Now, they can make, but they enact everything from the CDC and says, well, they said it was.
They should provide a hell of an audience for them, though.
They do. Well, because if they say, hey, you should wear a mask, then they make it a law. Hey, everybody better wear a mask. You have to. Because the CDC said so.
Did anybody who knew who Anthony Fauci was 5 years ago?
I don't know who he was.
Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah. Well,
his wife and his kids.
He was no, he was visible, I guess, during the AIDS, but I don't remember his name. But I guess he was involved in that heavily. He was one of the bigger AIDS lead in a lot of the issues with AIDS, which. But I didn't know who he was.
No.
But now he's 80-something year old. That's got an iron grip on stuff.
He has power that he never dreamed of 20
Well,
years
power
ago.
was never supposed to be given to a health advisor.
No.
You know, he's a health advisor, but with dictatorial powers, apparently.
Evidently.
Yeah, he just makes policy. And with the exception of the governors that are pushing back and saying...
His idea is, they think he's not supposed to, he's supposed to advise on policy, not make it.
Well, in essence, that's exactly what's happening. It's just the politicians are saying it's his fault. I mean, they're the ones that put it into place, and then they say, "Oh well, Fauci told me."
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Yeah. Fauci's your advisor. He's not the guy elected. You know.
The idea is to give them deniability. You give the
of course, it gives you cover,
so that if they have deniability, they can
and that goes
run
on
for re-election with a clear conscience.
That goes on in politics and boards all the time, and you know, Mel, when I was on the hospital board, you know, in order to hire a new CEO, you know, we hire a firm to give us advice.
Yeah.
And that way the board doesn't, well, you make the decision, but you're being led by the firm. You know, they're spoon feeding you a little bit.
We do that. Well, look,
we do that for every.
We do that for everything. The school board, when Dr. Stifler decided he did not want to stay in position, we went to a group that brought in candidates for us to look at.
Sure.
I mean,
but they groom those guys. In fact, those guys will come to the board. They talk to the board members to find exactly what the board members are looking for, and then they go out and find it or train it. I mean, I'm convinced now that what they do is they go out to prospects and rather than question them, say, look, here's what the board's looking for. Here's what you need to be. Here's how you, because we hired a CEO of the hospital that fit the profile we were looking for and then was anything but that when we brought him on. So obviously he did some work to get the job.
Yeah.
And I know he
knew how to study.
But we let him go, and it cost a lot of money to get out of that contract. But it didn't matter; it was the hospital at stake. You know, we made a mistake, and then we brought in the guy we should have brought in the first place, and the guy that was already on staff, the guy that was already there, and that was Pat, and put him in place without anybody to tell us who was good. Well, and the board of supervisors does it. The city council does it, you know, looking for a new administrator. Everybody does it.
Board does that.
Yeah. And then you bring on people that may or may not be who you're looking for because they've been groomed by the people you think are looking for you, but they're actually grooming people at the same time. Mm-hmm. Amazing how that happens, and you don't always end up with what you think you got. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, you two.
Good morning.
Hey, I want to kind of throw a little curveball in here real quick on a different subject, if you don't mind. I just have a question to see if you've ever heard of something like this.
What's up?
My wife went to a doctor's office, and, you know, we don't have insurance, and so the receptionist made the statement, just get access. Well, I make more than what it requires. They made this statement, and this is where I've never heard of this, but apparently they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Is get access. They don't check you for a year or something like that. And then just say you and your husband are separated. That way you can go ahead and get access.
Never heard that before in my life, but probably would work. All you have to do is just drop some ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kicker. I'm like, you're actually telling my wife to lie,
to cheat,
to do this.
lie,
Sorry,
yeah.
not happening.
Wow.
And so apparently this is happening quite often, and which is absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't know it happened, but I don't doubt it. You know.
No, I don't now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like our systems, but I don't like cheating them either. Does that make sense? I mean, I think some of our systems are terrible.
They absolutely are. But you're encouraging your employees are now encouraging you to lie.
Yeah.
To get something. I mean, what kind of ethics does the actual doctor's office have now?
Well, maybe you don't lie. Maybe you really do separate.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We've been married quite some
Hey, look,
time.
I'm trying to give you an out here, man.
Not happening. Not happening.
Good for you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Trying to help him out, Mel. Maybe it's the right thing. I doubt it. Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. And that's the way it began. And just on a side note, when I first moved to Yuma and I put my kids in public school, I can't recall how many conversations, but it was more than one, that they had about free lunch. And they said, well, you want to sign up for free lunch? I said, no, I can pay for lunch. And it was like, well, everybody signs up for free lunch. It's not a big deal. And well, I can pay for lunch. Yeah. I didn't realize that they actually made a lot more money.
They make more money off of the
free lunch because the government reimburses at a
higher rate
right. Than what they charge. They charge, I don't know, not too much, but I found out that my son was like the only guy didn't get free lunch. Because you're supposed to get free lunch. You just get free lunch. It's just part of the deal, but that's not what the rules say. The rules say, qualification and all that, but apparently they don't check it somehow, and you just get free lunch. They don't ask questions. And I didn't know the system. I didn't know I was supposed to say, okay. They didn't tell me lunch was free. It was like, do you want free lunch? I said, no, I don't want free lunch. We can pay for lunch. Thank you. And then and I thought it was but it wasn't. They kept asking. I'm like, I really don't want free lunch.
Yeah, you were costing them.
I didn't realize I caused them problems. Now they have to get a cash register. Caused all kinds of issues, I guess. That's just my way, I guess. Didn't know. That was naivete.
After that, you were costing them that differential between what they were charging and what they were getting.
I don't know exactly, but I was shocked to find out that everybody basically was on free lunch and I was causing an issue. I mean, not when they complained about it all. I mean, it was never any complaint to me, but they didn't say, look, let me talk to you. None of that.
There was an extra piece of paper that they had to fill out, probably.
I don't know. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Sunshine, low humidity, and plenty of heat. That is our weather for the rest of this week. But early next week, the temperatures begin to gradually cool down, just slightly. Starting to slowly warm up. 102 the high today, low 70s overnight. Sunny and breezy tomorrow, 103. And Friday, the hottest day of the week, 104 the high Friday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Achieve Human Services.
Unique individuals, empowering solutions.
Cost of landscape, maintenance, supplies, and equipment, thousands of dollars. Time it takes to mow, trim shrubs, trash pickup, and sweep off the walkways, 6 hours. Having Achieve Human Services maintain your business's property, priceless. Achieve Human Services, helping people with unique abilities realize their greatest potential through employment opportunities. For more information, call Achieve Human Services at 928-341-0335. That's 928-341-0335.
Achieve Human Services.
Unique individuals, empowering solutions.
Something new has arrived in Arizona. New, kind of like something shiny, and kind of different, and totally fresh with a jolt of excitement. Something fun, like a put a smile on your face kind of fun, like a play with all your friends kind of fun, a play till your socks come off kind of fun. Something quick, a play and win all day, every day kind of quick, like drawings every 15 minutes kind of quick. It's Quick Draw, the newest way to play and win from the Arizona Lottery, with 4 new games starting at just $1. Yeah.
Grown-ups devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. Take responsibility for your family's future and get your estate in order. Call my friends Sean Garner and Adam Hansen, attorneys at the law firm of Deason, Garner, and Hansen. Sean and Adam believe in giving free education to help people make smart decisions about their assets and leave a legacy for their family that they can be proud of. Schedule a consultation today. Visit yumaestateplanning.com.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Updated border wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes at our selected ports of entry. Algodones waits from 20 to 30 minutes with a couple lanes open. Your San Luis wait ranges from 45 to an hour with 2 lanes open. At Calexico East, an hour wait, 2 lanes open, about an hour to an hour and a half at Calexico West with 6 lanes open. Get updated border reports right now at yumadailynews.com.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on a Wednesday morning. Mel, it's kind of like hump day, and we didn't even do that.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear
Carl,
me.
you know.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day.
See, that was all for Carl. We got to make sure we get that out there. He's kind of, but he's not even in town. That's right. He's out there doing signs right now on the side of the road somewhere.
Signs up in Buckeye.
All over the place. He's going everywhere. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Yeah, it was last year there in the Summer of Love when that one guy started shooting at the family in the Jeep.
Yeah.
And he didn't hit the family in the Jeep. Instead, he hit a bunch more Antifa people. Well, he got sentenced a couple days ago.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes, for shooting Antifa people. He got probation.
Well, of course. Wasn't he Antifa himself, too? Wasn't he part of the problem?
Yeah, he was Antifa. I think his name was Samuel Young. He was out of Colorado.
You get probation for friendly fire.
Well, I guess so. I guess, or for being a bad shot. I don't know.
The whole thing's confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, the judge there up in Washington, I guess, decided to give him a break so maybe he could go out and really connect with his target instead of hitting his own people.
And then maybe he'll get some court-ordered, issues on the gun-related issue and make sure he takes target practice.
Nah, he's Antifa. That ain't going to happen.
I agree.
That ain't going to happen.
Thank you, buddy.
Buy him some more bullets.
There you go.
Bye.
Buy him bullets. Crazy. Probation for shooting a gun at a... Really? You would think they'd get at least what the January 6th guys have gotten, which is a year and a half of solitary confinement before sentencing.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Wow.
What's wrong with our society?
That's just insane.
That's half of what's wrong right there.
Yeah. That's attempted murder, Mel.
That's what it is.
It's not attempted. I meant to dislike you. It's attempted murder. Okay, I'm going to say something that is going to shock you today. This is an article where Joey Behar said something that you're going to agree with.
Okay, shock me then.
Well, okay, we're right. All right. We're talking about the NPR. NPR has put out a memo that informing their staff that if you don't wear a mask or your friends don't, you can report employees to HR so that we can take care of it for you. Those kind of things. So Joey says NPR doesn't want the COVID to spread, so they're telling their people, if your fellow employee is sitting there without a mask, I want to hear about it. Report it to HR. I would never do that. I'm Italian. We don't snitch. I don't know, Mel. Is that something you agree with? You got some Italian in you a little bit. You enjoy. I didn't know you and Joey Behar were so related. I didn't.
Personal, it's just business.
Well, this showed up on. I think it was. Who was it? It was David Rubin, and with Blaze TV was talking about that. And then Sonny, because the people on the View are generally just moronic. my opinion.
That's a terrible thing to say about morons.
Okay, but Sonny Houston chimed in, shocking her co-host by calling NPR's authoritarian snitch culture a good thing. And that's according to Ruben there. He says, and here's what she said. Sonny says, I just think you have this mechanism where you can just call and snitch and protect yourself as opposed to taking it on yourself, which sounds more like The View.
Well,
more like, go ahead and snitch because it's for something I agree with.
Yes.
Which you should wear a mask to protect me. Those kind of things. And Navarro said, how do you know if it's not somebody just snitching on somebody they don't like? That makes sense.
That's a good point.
And that's why those things shouldn't exist. But, those things existed in like Nazi Germany.
Call HR because you don't like old George, so there's one way to get him out of here.
Yeah. Exactly. Just call and say, Mel's not wearing his mask.
Yep.
And get him mad, of course. Nobody in their right mind can try to wear it 8 hours a day. That's insane. You're going to pass out. I feel most sorry for the kids.
No, kids especially.
Adults can quit.
It's in their number one, it's in their formative years.
Yeah.
But,
But all the kids cheat. If you look away, it's a chin diaper.
Yeah.
If you're not being watched.
Yeah.
And so you're just giving them more things to do that they're going to break that rule. Well, I don't know what we're teaching them.
They're teaching them the rules don't matter.
The rules don't matter. Exactly what it means. Exactly right. We got to take our last break. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Carrie Lake is lying about Karen Taylor Robeson in the race for Arizona governor. Why? Because Lake is trying to hide her record of supporting amnesty for illegals. Lake wrote that her plan, quote, allows them to remain. You heard that right. Lake supported letting 11 million illegals stay in the U.S. indefinitely. Lake criticized Donald Trump's immigration policies, calling them, quote, impossible. Lake claims to be a lifetime member of the NRA, but Lake only joined the NRA about the same time she started running for governor. No wonder Lake gave money to Barack Obama, even knocked on doors for Obama's campaign. Karen Taylor Robeson is a successful businesswoman who helped create thousands of jobs. Robeson will always defend our Second Amendment rights, and Robeson has a 6-point plan to secure the border and finish the wall. Karen Taylor Robeson for governor. Read Karen's plan at KarenForArizona.com. Paid for by Karen for Arizona. Authorized by Karen Taylor Robeson.
It's always game time at Paradise Sportsbook. Get in on the action with live sports betting. You can make your wagers in person or from the comfort of your recliner. The choice is yours. There's nowhere better to place your bets. Give it a shot by visiting our sportsbook or download the mobile app at paradise-casinos.com. So much action, so close to home. Paradise Casino.
Must be 21 and older. Management reserves all rights. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP 24/7 for problem gambling.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store. It's Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug Top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard. Industry-leading quality and trend-setting design that protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also your Line-X spray-in bed liner dealer. Line-X, #1 in America for spray-in bed liners. With nationwide warranty coverage, is now available and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. So protect your vehicle inside and out with Line-X spray and bed liners and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates. Truckmates is also your home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road truck and Jeep enthusiasts. And BDS suspensions are backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. BDS suspensions, Line-X spray and bed liners, and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates in its brand new building, same location, 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Updated border wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes at our selected ports of entry. Algodones waits from 20 to 30 minutes with a couple lanes open. Your San Luis wait ranges from 45 to an hour with 2 lanes open. At Calexico East, an hour wait, 2 lanes open, about an hour to an hour and a half at Calexico West with 6 lanes open. Get updated border reports right now at yumadailynews.com.
AM 560, KBLU, Russ Clark with you. And, man, it's Mel. It's already 7:48, you know,
Yes, sir.
on a hump day, Wednesday morning. Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp defeats David Perdue, who was backed by Trump. Now,
Right.
and Trump kind of pulled away from him in the last few weeks, said he wasn't running an aggressive campaign or whatever. Not that he wasn't a good man, just that he did not run a. And I guess he saw the writing on the wall that Kemp was going to run away with this thing. And Perdue, former U.S. Senator Dave Perdue, he came forward and said, he's going to support Kemp.
Good.
Well, yes, we need more of that stuff.
That's right.
Versus this crap that's gone on in these primaries, particularly the
my
one
way or the highway. That
with
doesn't
Trump.
work.
They were so concerned about Trump not supporting the winner, they made everyone sign a pledge for the first time ever. Everyone signed a pledge, and Trump signed it late. First he said no, but he said, okay, I'll sign it. And everybody signed it, but nobody did it. When Trump won, they didn't honor their own pledge.
That's right.
That they forced on because of him, which was has been nuts. Stacey Abrams, of course, is going to,
She'll take
go hit up against
She'll be the Democrat nominee. Sure.
Kemp again. Yeah, well, she was unopposed.
Yeah.
But Perdue lost, his runoff to Democrat John Ossoff last year, which probably, that state was had as much voter integrity issues as Arizona.
As any,
so who knows? I don't know. There's been any direction on that being a cause, but anytime it's corrupt, you don't know, and it always makes you wonder. Now we've been talking the other day that Trump's endorsement, which Perdue was endorsed by Trump, Trump's endorsement has caused 97% success.
Yes.
Well,
so far.
Then this is one that was not a success, and of course they make a big deal about it. But according to my fact checker, if everything comes true in this primary, they come out, it's going to move that number down to 79%. So it's going to be just at 80%. That's still not a bad.
No.
If you're batting 80%, you're a pretty good hitter.
That's it. If you win 80% of your games, you're going to win the pennant. So.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that is Trump just picking the guys that are obvious winners. I don't think that's the case. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. But I think 80%. I'd want anybody to endorse me. It's doing 80 even.
Sure.
97 was better. Herschel Walker also won.
It's not a surprise.
No. He's a really an articulate, good guy, and he's been on a lot of presidential things. He's been very active in politics, but not as a candidate.
No, this is the first time he's run, but
yeah.
But he has been out there talking for some time. So
yes, and he was on the presidential health type issues and stuff. Right. So gives a lot of speeches and does a lot of things. He does apparently 1,500 push-ups a day still. I don't do half that many. I don't even do half a half. I don't do any, Mel, is what I was telling. Yeah, I don't do any. So that's what I was getting down to. But, yeah, he stays fit.
Yeah.
That guy, that guy's something else. A thin blue line flag, and, of course, that is an American flag that's been altered. For the police.
For the police, right.
Yeah. Now, it's not an official flag of the United States of America. It's not.
No.
It's a flag that is designed after the United States of America. It is. It's designed.
It's an American flag with a blue stripe in it.
Yeah, basically. And I think it's got some other differences, but basically that's it. So it's not really an American flag. It resembles an American flag with the blue stripe and honors the American flag. Of course, some people see it as a something that's altered an American flag. It's not an altered American flag. They didn't take an American flag and alter it. Mm-hmm. It was a flag designed like that actually uses it. So I don't have a problem with that. And in fact, I fly it at my business. I'll fly that flag. Well, this Ohio military veteran also flies it at his house. Tom DeCero. And he flies it in honor of his son, Stephen Eric DeCero, who was a newly appointed police chief and was gunned down and killed at 38 years old, father of 6, on May 12th of 2017. And he's put that flag up ever since. He has an American flag that is a 4x6 foot American flag, and underneath that he flies this flag, which is a 3x5 flag, in honor of his son and in memory of his son, who was a police chief, which is kind of a nice honor to do for him. Well, he just got a letter from the HOA that said, the flag on your pole is not a United States flag. It is a political statement. Please remove the flag from your property. I don't think he wants to.
No.
He says, look, I spent 23 years in the military, and there's no way, shape, or form that flag is being flown disrespectful at all. It has a 4x6 American flag above it, and the police flag is 3x5 below it. It is not bigger than the top flag. It represents my son and nothing else. So I don't know why everybody is now harassing me that I have to take it down. David Dye, who is the association manager's president, who received a complaint about the flag, says they brought into the community with rules, meaning these people, which I agree. He agreed by buying in this community that we can't display what he wants to display. And there probably is somewhere in the rules about political statements or something,
Right.
Probably. So they made this one a political statement, which the police have never been a political statement until recently.
Well, if you want to get down to really brass tacks, flying the American flag could be considered a political statement.
Yeah, it is. Maybe.
I mean, come on. So
it's very. And he also writes, David says, sometimes signs masquerade as flags or as light displays as examples. The board has adopted this, and as a sign, we don't get to judge what it says. We have had to ask people to remove a sign advertising a nativity display as an example. It doesn't matter whether we agree. If it's a sign, you are not allowed to post it according to the deed restrictions. Of course, it's still a flag. It's not an American flag, but it's still a flag representing police. But I guess there's a controversy now because somebody complained about it. Now, here's what's going on in his neighborhood. He's had a dozen neighbors respond by buying their own thin blue line flag of their own and displaying them. Oh, really? Yeah, that's going to cause problems for that board. What are you going to do? Yeah, and there was a caravan of 20 cruisers from various county law enforcement agencies on Friday evening to drive past the home as their own thin blue flag flying out of their cruisers in a show of support. So I think the guy's getting a lot of support now.
Oh, the HOA is going to have to
my
revisit
goodness.
their rules.
But a lot of these HOAs and they start becoming omnipotent.
Well, it gets to the point where it says, breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
It's just control every facet of what's going on in your house. That's wrong.
They start becoming very, it's right here in the paper. You've got to do it, and I don't know that's what's going on, but just with this one, but with this David Dye, and usually who gets elected to these boards are the the neighborhood watchdogs that are trying to find somebody doing something wrong. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Quite often.
They got nothing else to do.
And I don't know if it's the case here or not, but generally that's it. And they're looking for something to do, somebody that's outside the rules, or the grass is 1/4 inch too tall, or something like that. And God bless them. I believe in HOAs, and I think they're great for the community. But there needs to be some common sense that goes along with it, and so on.
That's often lacking. Yes.
And if you get a complaint, of course you've got to address it, and you've got to go to the HOA and say, look, guys, we got somebody legitimate complaint, and we need to address it. Let's talk about it. And hopefully we don't have all curmudgeons that say, it's the rules, make them take it down. Well, it's not a flag. It's not a sign. That's a stretch. But at that point, when you understand the history and what's going on, you definitely want to go talk to some neighbors and not just the board.
Yeah.
Because they're just listening to their own voice after a while. You need to get out there. And obviously the neighbors voted.
Yeah.
When you got a dozen that put up their own flags, Mel, the neighbors voted.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not the HOA sees that or not, I don't know.
Well, it could be. This is just a case of a greasy wheel getting the grease.
I don't know.
Or a squeaky wheel getting the grease, rather.
I hope it works right for them. And boy, you hate to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, a 38-year-old father of 6, that was a police chief, is gunned down. Yeah. This anti-police, this go after police, this happened in 2017. But this has got to stop. I mean, of course, the anti-police had already started by then. It was already well enforced. I have no idea what the incident was here and what goes on, but the targeting of police and the disrespect and all the stuff that's going on, we need to get through this.
It's got to stop.
It's affecting all police officers and all police forces, including here. I understand, we don't get everyone hired that we want to. We're below where we should be.
To me, it's amazing that we still have men and women who are willing to serve.
Yes.
In that capacity with all that's going on.
And they deserve more honor and respect.
They certainly do.
Absolutely, because they're up against everything. We'll be back like Friday, hopefully.
Friday, yes.
We'll see. And Chamber Chatter up next, AM 560, KBLU.